Then there's Jimmy Hawker. He spent years of his life living in the Davenport Ranges in Central Australia, fossicking for gold.
I think it's the most beautiful place you could have on earth. It's like heaven to me. Davenport Ranges is very special to me. I spent about 18 to 20 years in that country, roaming through looking for gold and living off the land like bush tucker and catching fish from rock holes. And I lived in Spinifex humpies and I really lived like animals, I suppose, and that's the only way I survived.
Jimmy is a true bushman. His bush survival skills extend to collecting plants he uses to wash himself down by Whistleduck Creek.
Yeah, this is a bush soap. It's a wattle, just picked it on the way down. And the seeds, you can get the seeds out of it and make a damper, flour, gundi, Aboriginal people call it. And but it's really famous for the medicine side. It'll take grease off your frying pan. Unbelievable stuff. And it's good for your skin. Don't get it in your eyes. If you get it in your eyes, you'll be screaming for about 3 minutes. But after that, you'll see things you've never seen before. Good stuff.
20 years of living rough around the Davenport Ranges means that Jimmy knows exactly where to find his bush tucker.
Right, bush coconut. You pick them and you break them open. 4 things in here you can eat.
Yeah.
You eat the eggs, eat the insects, eat the white flesh on the side, and then you can eat it. Try it. It's beautiful, full of water. That is beautiful. Nearly good as a beer.
One local artist with many stories to tell is Jack Absalom. He's built a gallery to display his works, all featuring the land he loves so much, the Australian Outback. Jack may be 80 years old, but he's still painting.
I go to a lot of trouble when I go to the bush. I go to an area. I go to like the Hamersley Ranges or Arnhem Land or wherever it is. And when I get there, I'll do nothing for the first, say, 3, 4, 5 days, but drive around. I look at all the morning lights. I then look at all the afternoon lights and say about the second day, I say, hell, that's interesting. I've seen this country in every sort of situation or environment you could put in. Storms, dust storms, flood, whatever it is. There's always something there. There's something that attracts you. I don't think there's any country in the world that's got the reliability, say, the comradeship that you find in Australia, especially in the outback of Australia, because that's the real Australia, out in this country, not the cities. You could go to Sydney or Melbourne and you could be in Paris or London, there's no difference. But the outback, there's nowhere in the world, I believe, like the outback of Australia.
One all-Australian adventurer who's just completed yet another round world trip, this time by car, is Dick Smith. We catch Dick and his wife Pip as they end their trip at the Sydney Opera House.
107 days of driving, 2.5 years, and 25 years ago I landed at Darling Harbour and Neville Wran, the Premier at the time, welcomed me in after flying under the harbour bridge. This time we drove under the harbour bridge. Oh! Hey! Well, 3 cheers to my wife Pip for putting up with me. Hip, hip! Hooray! Hip, hip! Hooray! Hip, hip!
5 flights around the world, and I wanted to see the world from the ground, and I thought, you hear about grey nomads driving around Australia. I thought, well, I'll drive around the world. Yeah, 40,000 car, I think it's 107 days, around about 14 countries, and it's 2.5 years since we started, because we go for about a month at a time, then we come back to see our grandchildren, and then head off again. But it's been a most wonderful drive around the world, a great adventure.
So you're a true explorer.
I'm an adventurer more than an explorer. Explorers sort of looking for new places. It's a bit hard to do that today. Maybe in Antarctica it's possible. But we actually went on pretty well proven routes, but everything from good roads to really impossible roads and to no road. Well, the best part of around the world, I reckon, was driving across Australia. Of course, we don't have any borders. Everyone speaks English. We have the most wonderful, you could call wilderness areas. We love the bit in Western Australia, the Gun Barrel Highway especially, the beautiful red earth. the fact that it's so unaffected. And Len Bedell just put in a bulldozer track, and that's basically what you drive along. The roads are pretty rough. The old vehicle gets pounded around. But seeing Australia, especially the Outback, I mean, we all live close to the coast, most of us anyway, but we identify with the Outback, and to me, driving across Australia, around Australia, is just the ultimate thing to do. Every Australian's got to do it, otherwise they're not a real Australian.
Just ahead of us is something quite spectacular. Have a look at that.
The scenery we have in Australia is as good as anything in the world, and we can get around our own country. We just speak one language. You don't need a passport, and you have the ultimate freedom to go wherever you want to do. And I recommend to any Australian, get out and see Australia, every bit of it from the coast to the Outback.